Welcome back to the corner flag. Game week 17 was quite interesting. Obviously, the main talking point of this video is going to be that Liverpool nil, Manchester United nil. I know how
can a nil be the main talking point?
It's more a message to our fan base, the Liverpool fans, but we'll get more into that in a bit. Actually, I haven't done a Big Six recap since game week 12, and a lot has happened since then. Chelsea were actually doing quite well at the time. And you know what? Overall, Chelsea still haven't been doing that bad. Sure, after game week 17, they still currently find themselves 10th in the Premier League table, only winning 2 out of their last 5, actually losing 3 in their last 5. But they are the Premier League entertainers. When it comes to the Big Six games, they somehow show up. So I'm going to give Chelsea credit where it's due. So to just brush over the 2 comfortable wins in the Big Six, we got Spurs winning Nottingham Forest 2-0 away, and we got Chelsea winning Sheffield United 2-0 at home. Both teams enjoyed their game. Spurs was quite comfortable. Chelsea as well. Chelsea, I think that was the most possession they've had in the Premier League this season. The star of the show, obviously, Cole Palmer. If you are like me, in your FPL, you've been having Cole Palmer for weeks now. He just comes in clutch. 14 points this week. I know we're already 17 games into the season, and I should have maybe mentioned this a lot sooner, but if you guys don't want to join the Nawaaz FPL League, Cole Palmer's actually doing an insane job for Chelsea right now. I think Chelsea fans aren't even missing Mason Mount. Cole Palmer's basically been that guy to carry Chelsea through the season. Like, sure, certain players like Raheem Sterling have stepped up in certain points of the season, but I think their most consistent player this season is without a doubt Cole Palmer. And I'll be honest with you, in the beginning, I was questioning the signing. I was like, Manchester City got so much money for a player that they don't even use, but clearly Chelsea could see the quality that they were signing. Moving over to North London now, where Spurs absolutely controlled that whole game away at Nottingham Forest. Kulusevski absolutely running the show there as well. Listen, we all knew Spurs were going to struggle without James Maddison. James Maddison, remember when he was fit, I was saying he was the signing of the season, and I think he was. Like, if he wasn't injured, he was going to be the signing of the season. But Spurs are having players that are stepping up for them. Kulusevski has definitely stepped up for Spurs during James Maddison's absence, and even Richarlison is now all of a sudden found himself in the scoring sheets. Back-to-back game weeks now where he has scored 3 goals in 2 games. Spurs' number 9 is finally firing. But also nothing else really to talk about in that Spurs game besides the fact that, yeah, they are a point behind Manchester City with the same games played, and now City is going off to the Club World Cup. So if Spurs win the next game, they kick Manchester City out of the top 4. And I can't remember the last time we were 18 games into a Premier League season and City is not in the top 4. Like, if you had to predict Manchester City being outside of the top 4 18 games in, I think that you'd have a better chance putting a needle into a haystack, jumping into the haystack, and then it pricking your bum. Like, it just never seemed likely at all. They just came off a treble winning season. Like, what is happening with this Manchester City side? But it's something that we've definitely spoke about and we've definitely picked on, because obviously me and the boys definitely mentioned this a couple game weeks in. Already from the first few game weeks, we said that as much as they've just come off a treble winning season, they look beatable. And fair enough, majority of the times when they did drop points this season, it was when Rodri wasn't there. And now even when they drop points against Crystal Palace, maybe you can argue, yeah, Haaland wasn't there. But every team goes through injuries, and I thought Manchester City would have had a better squad, considering they've always had this thick squad over the years. But look at the Manchester City bench. That was one of the weakest benches I've ever seen Manchester City ever have. You have Ortega, okay, which is a goalkeeper, so let's not count him. Then you got John Stones, Akanji, Phillips, Kovacic, and Sergio Gomez. These aren't attacking players. Then you finally get into the attacking, threatening players. Mateus Nunez, you got Oscar Bob, and then I've never heard of Sissoko before. Sissoko? Yeah. Either way, he's a Spanish defensive midfielder. So yeah, definitely in this moment in time, City's squad ain't the strongest. And it literally just takes 1 or 2 injuries to make this whole City team look completely weak. I feel like Crystal Palace is one of City's bogey teams. Crystal Palace, how many times have they already taken points off Manchester City since Pep Guardiola came? I believe it's something like 6 different times now where Manchester City under Pep Guardiola has failed to win Crystal Palace. Now sure, obviously they do win majority of the games. I'm just saying that obviously Pep Guardiola doesn't enjoy versing Palace. So obviously Spurs win their game 2-0, Chelsea's winning their game 2-0, looking like it will be a comfortable win for them. They obviously see that through. Same with Manchester City, a 2-0 lead with 15 minutes left. I'm thinking, yeah, no, this is going to be another Manchester City win. You know, it's looking done and dusted. But no, in the 76th minute, Jean-Philippe Mateta pulls one back. And then yeah, everyone gets nervous now in the Etihad. Guys, this was a game where Manchester City had over 74% possession in. They took 19 shots, 9 of them on target, compared to Crystal Palace's 5 shots, only 2 on target. So you can imagine how Pep Guardiola was stressing when Jean-Philippe Mateta pulled one back. He's like,
no, please, just see this through.
But no, Phil Foden with a sloppy penalty right towards the end of the game. 95th minute, he gives away a penalty. And then up step a very, very good player. Mikel Olise is just one of those guys that I feel like will have a good career in the Premier League. He's destined for it. Unless he does something like Wilfried Zaha, where he wants to be the king of Crystal Palace, he definitely can have a big move. I mean, he almost did. He almost did already. He almost went to Chelsea. Chelsea triggered his release clause. He rejected that and he extended his contract at Crystal Palace. But he doesn't belong there. He just doesn't belong there. I feel like he's too good for Crystal Palace. It's another Olise set piece that breaks the hearts of a Manchester club. It was just earlier this year, 18th of January 2023. Michael Olise scores in the 91st minute a beautiful free kick, and now he scores in the 95th minute a penalty against Manchester City at the Etihad. It gave us all hope that Manchester City have dropped points yet again, and it's doable this season. That was the 7th time this season Manchester City have dropped points. That was their 4th draw. And Manchester City have only won one game in the last 5. And that win was against Luton, which I know, yes, not everyone can win Luton. But Manchester City are definitely still going through a tough period. And in all honesty, I don't even know how they'll do in the Club World Cup. We still got some very good clubs there in the World Cup, so I don't even know if they're going to go there and literally just play games for nothing. Let's hope so. Let's hope that brings their morale down in the Premier League. But I don't even know if that will be the case, because Manchester City, sometimes all it takes is for them to be up against the wall, and then that's when they'll go on that 18 win streak, towards the end of the season. So, okay, whatever happens, happens. I'm wishing them all the best, okay, Man City? I'm wishing you all the best at the Club World Cup. But yeah, no, that 2-2 draw was definitely motivation for the next two clubs that I'm going to be talking about now. Arsenal and Liverpool, they saw that as an opportunity.
Guys, Man City drop points. Let's get our 3 points now.
And let's increase this gap between us and Manchester City. Arsenal do their job, obviously, against the Brighton team that they've had a lot of good success against Arsenal over the years. Arsenal definitely needed to bounce back after that 1-0 loss against Aston Villa, where a lot of their fans thought that they got robbed, and they did just that. A key player to obviously talk about for Arsenal there is Kai Havertz. He has finally landed, ladies and gentlemen. All this time we're wondering what's going on with Kai Havertz. He's going to be the flop of the season. And now, he's been one of Arsenal's most important players this season. He steps up when they need him. Sure, Arsenal were already 1-0 up, but that goal in the 87th minute was definitely needed to settle the nerves. Brighton were in and out of the game. Don't get me wrong, Arsenal were still the better team in my opinion. But with Kai Havertz obviously scoring again, I feel like he finally got the love from all of the Arsenal fans now. That was Kai Havertz's 5th goal of the season in all competitions for Arsenal. I know it doesn't sound like that much, but it's because he's had a slow start. He's had a very slow start. Some other things to talk about, as much as Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard aren't firing in front of the goal as much this season, Arsenal can really rely on a lot of other players now. You got Trossard, who's always performing. You got Gabriel Jesus, who's scoring whenever he's there. And now you got Kai Havertz, who's also involved in the goals. Arsenal's midfield in that game was something to notice as well. And you got Declan Rice, who's just having a masterclass after masterclass. He could be, or James Maddison now being injured, he could be the signing of the season, because he's had a very big impact on that Arsenal team. He has transformed them completely. Arsenal can control games now. Arsenal can dominate teams in the midfield, and Declan Rice is the reason. Defensively, one of the best in the league. The guy got a little engine behind his ribs. He just doesn't stop running as well. That 2-0 win obviously meant that Arsenal did go top of the Premier League table, which they ended up staying because Liverpool couldn't win this Manchester United team. I mean, let's just take a look at the lineups here, please. Got Andre Onana, right? Andre Onana this season hasn't been that good for Manchester United. If anything, if you had to make a meme 11, Onana starts. Got Rafael Varane, who's still coming back from injury. Thiago Dalot is obviously, he's alright. He's a good player. He's a United first team regular now, whether he's right back or left back. Luke Shaw, who went off injured in the Champions League, and Johnny Evans. Then their midfielder, Sofian Amrabat. Okay, he had a alright game. He wasn't really that involved. Alejandro Garnacho, that was like his first start against Liverpool. Anthony, Scott McTominay was one of their most advanced midfielders in that starting 11 as well. So I don't know how we couldn't control this midfield. And then Kobbie Mainoo, who in my opinion had a good game relatively. For him it was a good game. Then the forward was obviously Rasmus Højlund, who is a striker who has now gone 13 games without a goal. United fans, y'all can do whatever y'all want. He's your player. Rasmus Højlund, for the amount of money Manchester United signed this guy for, he should have at least gotten 5 Premier League goals by now. Listen, I know even we have our problems, okay? I'm not going to be biased here and not say that we don't have our own problems, because we also have a striker who is costing it for us. Now, this is the whole point of the video, okay? I left it for last. I want to talk about Liverpool, okay? Let's talk about United for a bit more. United are struggling this season. They obviously came to Anfield to try and get at least a point. If you can't win a team, let's be honest, if Manchester United came to play football, they weren't going to win. So if you can't win a team, just don't lose. So I can understand United's approach. I can understand the bus parking. I can understand the counter-attacking approach. I'm obviously frustrated because we were on the receiving end of it, and their game plan worked out perfectly. And this Manchester United team is the first team since Aston Villa came to visit us during the end of last season on the 20th of May. This is the first team since then that has taken points off Liverpool. Liverpool's been on a very long winning streak at Anfield, so you can understand United were like,
yeah, please, let's just try and get something from this game.
Their whole approach, I have to give credit where credit is due. As a unit, they defended very well. They didn't allow Liverpool to have any clear-cut chances, no real golden opportunities. But with all that being said, Liverpool still had a lot of great chances in this game. We took 34 shots, 8 of them only on target. Alisson Becker had more passes than McTominay, than Mino, than Amrabat. Alisson completed more passes than all of those midfielders. So Liverpool should have definitely won this game. Okay, obviously the fans had a lot of confidence. We were definitely overconfident. Now where does this leave us in terms of our title hopes? Well, let's not be over dramatic, okay? Leave the overreacting to a certain fan base, alright? Liverpool fans shouldn't overreact. Liverpool are still in this title race. But we won't be in this title race if Klopp doesn't fix the obvious errors. Now, what are those errors that he's making? Well, number one, rest the players, man. It's clear that Szoboszlai is not the same player from the first 8 to 9 games of the season. The man has played every game in the Premier League this season for Liverpool. 1,418 minutes, like that is a lot. And forget playing the 17 games in the Premier League, he's also played 2 games in the AFL Cup and 3 games in the Europa League. This man has played 22 games for Liverpool this season so far. Rest him. And Klopp also needs to really drop down Nunez and maybe Luis Diaz as well. Luis Diaz, after this latest injury, he hasn't been the same, let's be honest. If you are getting pocketed by Anthony, right, then you really need some help then. Then you need a checkup. Then you need a rest. Go to the Bahamas, take a break, just for maybe a week. You are supposedly one of Liverpool's most trickiest wingers. And if you can't get past Anthony, nah, it means something's wrong. Then the main guy that can't be a Liverpool starter is Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez, whenever he comes off the bench, you can see the impact he has. Definitely had better games for Liverpool this season off the bench than when he started. Now, I don't want to sit here and say that we should have an £85 million super sub, but for real, as it stands now, this guy can't be the one starting games for Liverpool. He should be the one to try and cause chaos for the last 20-30 minutes of the game. But even so, if he does come on in those last few minutes, right, and if Klopp does decide to do this super sub thing, the main problem obviously is this man's goal scoring ability. Like right now, he's living off that Newcastle win. As much as he rescued 3 points for Liverpool that day, I can say now he's probably lost us 4 points this season. The game against Luton, that's definitely 2 points lost because Darwin Núñez couldn't finish his dinner. Games like this Manchester United one, where you want your striker to be there, to step up when you need him, he just didn't show up. Both the South Americans next to Mo Salah in that front three didn't show up. And we're expecting you to show up. We are having that expectation on you. And no, we're not expecting Darwin to score 20 goals a season like Mo. But when the chances do fall to you, you need to be scoring them. And it's not to say this man wasn't clinical. At Benfica, he was one of the most clinical players in the world at the time. That's why Liverpool signed him. And I love his energy and I love his passion, and I know he definitely loves the club as well, and we definitely love him too. But like I said, as much as he rescued 3 points for Liverpool away at Newcastle, he's now losing us points. He's now definitely losing us points. Either he gets put onto the left wing and then he can still play, or he should get dropped. Cody Gakpo should start. And when Jota is fit again, then maybe Jota left wing and Gakpo. Because Liverpool definitely do have a problem, and it's not in the defense, it's not even in the midfield. Midfield is not about squad depth like how it was last season. Midfield is more, there's no balance. Even in that Manchester United game, you couldn't play Gravenberch and Szoboszlai. Both of them want to advance the ball and carry the ball. Liverpool needed to have Curtis Jones for one of those players. Like, Curtis Jones ain't no Declan Rice or anything, but he gets involved in the defense. Liverpool can't be playing with a single CDM. I mean, you don't even have to go that far. When we won the cup double now recently, Fabinho was our main CDM, and then Henderson would even come back and help. So you couldn't expect Endo to be the only guy there. Like, Klopp can't have a single CDM. We need to have someone that helps the single CDM sometimes. So Curtis Jones, I feel, should have started this Manchester United game. We need Thiago, and we need Stefan Bajcetic, because it's clear now with Joel Matip's injury that Liverpool need a centre-back. Now, would you prioritize a centre-back, or would you still go for what was initially going to be the main January target, which was a CDM? Now, that's a question. Now, that is Question. In my opinion, you need a centre-back. Liverpool have been coping so far this season with Endo being the only known number 6. I feel like we just need to weather the storm a bit longer and wait for Stefan Basacic to at least be back, because he was having a very good season for Liverpool last season. So if you can maybe even have a double pivot with him and Endo, oh my goodness, that could be amazing. All I'm saying is that we do have a CDM already at the club. We're just waiting for him to be back and fit. Liverpool definitely need a centre-back in January. But who will sell their number 1 centre-back? It's going to be very difficult. And if Liverpool want to win the Premier League, we need a good spine. And the goalkeeper, one of the best in the world. The centre-backs this season have been sensational. Van Dijk back to his best. Konate, amazing. Joel Matip when he was fit, one of the... He was, for me, I actually preferred him over Van Dijk. That's how good he was. And then the CDM... questionable. McAllister wasn't doing it. Endo is now starting to have a lot of good games. Let's just hope, please, he just continues it. And then the striker. We don't have a world-class striker. Mo Salah, our right winger, is the world-class player in that front three. So if you want to win the Premier League, you always need a very, very good spine. And Liverpool right now, the bottom of the spine is very good. The top of the spine, very questionable. So yeah, that's currently my opinion on where we stand right now. I have a lot more to say, obviously. Just make sure you do follow me on the socials there, the Corner Flag on Instagram and on TikTok. I mean, I make a lot of short form content and just voice the opinions there as well. But yeah, I want to hear what you guys have to say as well. I know majority of this channel is Liverpool fans. So yeah, whenever we do this game week reviews, I'm going to try and talk about Liverpool a bit more than the rest. Because there's also a football page, but it's clear that majority of you guys are Liverpool fans because of the match reactions. And I hope you guys do enjoy this other form of content besides the match reactions, because yes, I do want the Corner Flag channel to obviously, you know, grow more and more. Thank you guys so much for 18,000 subscribers as well. That's insane. I never thought I would ever get here to 18,000 subscribers. So if we can somehow, you know, the road to 100k, if we can somehow have the 100k plaque in the background of a future video, one day, inshallah, man, inshallah, one day it's gonna happen. I hope so. But that's why I do hope you guys enjoy this other form of content as well. I don't want it to be that dependent on Liverpool alone. So please go watch the other videos as well if you haven't already. And that's all from me today. There's Arsenal game now. This is gonna be a must-win game now for Liverpool. Let's hope Liverpool step up. I just hope that this game against Arsenal, it'll be prime Premier League again. It'll be like how the Liverpool City games are. I just hope Mikel Arteta doesn't take any, you know, notes from this Manchester United performance. If Arteta comes to Anfield to play, it'll be a very, very good game. But for now, that's all from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. See ya.